When it comes to min-maxing your characters and coming up with interesting builds in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, it all comes down to the ISO-8 system. It's a system that when you first start out in the game, it's really pretty simple and it's hard to see where you can get some build variety from this. But as you start to progress through the game, the system definitely opens up, and as you get to the end game, you start to find some really interesting ISO-8 set pieces as well. Now, in this video, we're going to run over everything you need to know about ISO-8. So firstly, we'll start off discussing how you unlock the 4 different slots. We'll then look at the ISO-8 upgrade system. That will include how you dismantle and lock your ISO-8. We'll then have a quick look at where's the best place to actually farm ISO-8. I've been farming a particular Infinity node myself and it's been working exceptionally well. And then to finish up, I'll show off some of the best ISO-8s I've managed to find so far. So let's jump in and we'll talk about the unlock slots first. When you initially unlock a character, from level 1 onwards you have one ISO-8 slot available. The next one becomes available at level 20, the third one becomes available at level 30. Now, a question I've seen quite a lot from people, and this is actually relatively hidden within the game, is how do you unlock that elusive 4th slot? So let me quickly show you how you do that. So the key to unlocking this 4th slot is actually within the Alliance enhancement system, but it's still not entirely clear how you actually do it. Now, if you look, it states here that a new ISO-8 slot unlocks when you acquire all special nodes. Now, what actually are all special nodes? You would assume it would be the nodes in the centre of each of the different trees that you need to complete, but that's not actually the case. Now, if we go all the way over here, we can see there's certain nodes that I have unlocked them myself, but this one here would normally cost you 130 Alliance enhancement points, so it's the opposite node from where you enter into that particular gem. Now, this one here, you can see this one here is 100 as well, and then if we go back to the middle and then all the way down, this one is 100. Now, these are classed as the special nodes, so it's these 3 within each of the different nodes that you need to actually unlock in order to get that 4th ISO slot. So thankfully it's not as bad as having to unlock every single node within the entire system, so it shouldn't take too long if you are focused in and actually doing that. So that's the Alliance enhancement system and how you unlock that 4th slot. Let's now have a look at ISO-8 management. The management of your ISO-8, which would include upgrading your ISO-8 and also dismantling it or locking it to make sure you don't dismantle it in error, is done via the lab. So this is accessible either via a shield access point in the game or from the main menu in the game. Now, the interface is a bit clunky at the moment, so I'm hoping we do see changes to it, but I've brought up the filter here because this is the best screen so we can actually see the different types of ISO-8 you can get. So we currently have 5 different rarities. The most important one and the one that you want to eventually farm in time will be the AA rarity. Now, you then have colours. There's 8 different available. 6 of them will correspond to the different stats within the game, and the gems will actually really correspond to that as well. So if you find a red one, for example, the chances are that will offer you a boost to vitality. You then have rainbow gems. These will be the ones you'll be looking to farm at end game. These can have up to 2 affixes, so if you get 2 perfect affixes, then congratulations, you've got one of the best gems in the game. Now, finally, we have white gems. These will generally include your experience upgrades. They are exceptionally important, and also you'll find very often on these particular gems that you can increase the chance of your ISO-8 or rare ISO-8 dropping. Sometimes you can even increase the chance of specific colours of ISO-8 that are dropping, so once again, these are really important. Now, when it comes to modification, you can actually upgrade your ISO-8, so this would apply to all the tiers, but with tiers D to A. Once you upgrade to level 5, and I'll show you how to do that in one moment, then it would actually allow you to advance that ISO-8 to the next tier. So just as an example, let's say you have a C grade ISO-8, upgrade that 5 times, you then have the opportunity to upgrade that to a B tier, and you could go from there onwards. Now, I wouldn't recommend actually trying to take a D class ISO-8 all the way up to AA because it literally takes thousands of them in order to do this, and with the interface as it is at the moment, it would take an exceptionally long period of time. So let me actually show you how the modification system would work here. So we'll start off with a nice rainbow ISO-8 I have at the top here. This would be a AA one. So if we click on modify, which is just the A button here, you can see when we push up on the D-pad, we can then upgrade it up to 5 times. Now you can see just down the bottom there, it would require 6 A-level ISO-8 in order to upgrade, and that's always the case. Whenever you want to upgrade an ISO-8, it will be the tier before you that you actually require in order to do that. So when it comes to endgame farming and upgrading, you want to make sure you keep your double A's and your A's, because your A's will be required to upgrade your double A's up to +5. Also costs gold, and it costs the ISO-8 dust. This is something that you'll get just simply from playing the game. You don't have to go out your way to farm it. You can see in some instances I've got over 2 million of this for the particular different colours. Now once you find a nice bit of ISO-8, one that you want to make sure you actually hold on, then all you need to do is simply hit the left shoulder button. You can see that's now locked and there's no chance that we could deconstruct that in error. Now in regards to the deconstruction, let's go to some of the lower ISO-8 I've got here. So you hit the Y button, you can select up to 10 of these at a time. I'll just select a few here, and then if we then hit the right shoulder button, from here we can deconstruct them. Now you can see it gives you a tiny amount of your actual dust here, so it's not worth deconstructing these for the dust because you'll get a lot more than that within the game. However, I noticed myself there's actually a cap of 1000 ISO-8 that you can hold, so unfortunately every so often if you're heavily farming ISO-8, which is something we're going to look at in a moment, you will have to go in and spend a good 15-20 minutes in this menu getting rid of all the ISO-8 that you don't need. It's a bit of a pain, and fingers crossed we get some kind of upgrade to that system. Now what we're going to actually check out, and I just mentioned that a moment ago, is where is the best place to farm your ISO-8, because you can see if I scroll down a little bit here, I've got a ton of double A ISO-8. I've probably got more than what I actually know what to do with. So let's jump in and I'll show you where I farmed this. When it comes to farming ISO-8, then you want to hold off when you're at the point where you can actually go into a node where you can farm the double A ISO-8, because the way the upgrade system works, it's so convoluted, there'd be no value and it'd be a massive waste of time trying to upgrade lower ISO-8. So you've got the Omega Infinity Rift. Now this is available after you complete the Superior difficulty, so you need to complete Mighty in the first instance, unlock Superior, and then from there you can actually finish Superior and you'll have this available. Now the node you would use, it's a wave node. This one will spawn 200 enemies in Wakanda. It's a small arena, there's a high density of enemies, and very importantly, after I think it's about 50 or 100 enemies you defeat, the vast majority of them that come in will be elites, and elites seem to have that much higher chance of dropping high value ISO-8. When it comes to builds you want to use here, you want to have heavy AoE builds. The likes of a Miss Marvel Spin to Win can work really well, or the likes of a, let's say, a Storm build or a Magneto build, that could work exceptionally well as well. Now if we actually look at the gameplay here that's going on in the background, you can see that a huge amount of ISO-8 is dropping. I'm using Black Panther, I like him because he can take out elites exceptionally quickly. Now with the setup I'm running here, I'll mention that I've not actually switched around my ISO-8 to the ones that can increase the drop rate of rare ISO-8 or increase the specific colour. So if you were to do that, then you can imagine how much you would actually see dropping on screen, so we're getting a huge amount as it is. So that's the best place to actually farm. It is later on in the game, but that generally will always be the case if you're looking to farm the best available gear. Now what we'll do to finish off the video is I'll show off some of the best ISO-8 I've managed to find here, and some of these are pretty amazing. With the ISO-8 management system being as clunky as it is, I've actually just equipped my favourite ISO-8 onto characters to show off here. I figured that would be much easier. So if we look at Cap first, he's got some nice green AAA ISO-8, and this one offers damage resistance by 15.5%. We then have some red ISO-8 on him. It gives 2.9% hit point recovery every 10 seconds, and with his health pool that would work out around about 700 health passively every 10 seconds, which is pretty awesome. Next up we've got more red ISO-8. This one increases vitality by 8.8%. Now you've probably seen variants that offer between 500 and 1000, but with his health pool this would actually offer him over 2000 health, which is really amazing if you're building a tanky style character. We then have Hawkeye next. He's got some pretty awesome setups on him. So this one increases crit hit chance of all attacks by a whopping 8%. So put 3 of these on, you're increasing your crit hit chance by 24%. Max out the Alliance enhancement tree for, I believe it's strength, gives you an additional 10%, and that means your basic attacks would have an additional 34% chance to crit on top of what the base crit chance actually is. It doesn't tell us anywhere in game, unfortunately. Now, next up is Orange ISO-8. This one adds the fire ability attribute to the user. I've yet to play around with this more, but I think it could be interesting. It also comes in the ice and electrical variants. We've then got some Rainbow ISO-8. This one will go on Ghost Rider or Human Torch, so increases light and heavy attack damage by 16.6% and then increases the damage of attacks with the fire ability attribute by a whopping 21.4%, and that's not upgraded either, so that looks really nice. Now, Magneto's up next. The most important ISO-8 in the game, I'd say, is probably this one here. So it increases team-wide XP gained by a whopping 100%. Now, you want to level up all your characters as quickly as you can, so you can then max out the Alliance enhancement tree. That's why this is so important. Now, we have a solo variant of it available. This one just increases XP for the individual character by 100%. And then finally, you've got one that increases the rate at which white ISO-8 will drop by 25%. So this one here will increase the drop chance of this one here. So that's why these two are important. Now, finally, we've got some interesting damage ones on Black Panther. So increases damage done to the enemy's stagger gauge by 10.8%. Great for characters that have high stagger as it is. And then this one here would be great on Spidey. So increases the damage done to enemies affected by bind by a pretty huge 26%. It's not maxed out. Imagine maxed out, it'll probably be about 30%. And then finally we have increases energy by 8.8%. Very good on characters that are quite energy intensive and really rely on their abilities. But that's all the ones I've managed to find in game. Let me know in the comments below if you found any interesting ones that aren't actually listed here. And I hope this video has been helpful. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. If you've been in the channel already, feel free to hit the like button, the share button, leave a comment below because it always helps drive engagement on these videos. And really thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.